What's good, your boy Twan, aka Twan, aka TwannReacts, and we back with another video. Oops. Rich or poor is the economy red middle ground. Rich versus poor is the economy red middle ground.
Step forward if you agree. Being poor is a choice.
Oh, brother. It's a choice.
I do not want to be disingenuous to ignore systemic issues that we all experience, but I feel like it's 2021 and there's a lot of free resources. I mean, Facebook has a lot of free courses. I think that poor is also a mindset.
I agree. Originally, when I came out here, I started straight at the homeless shelter. I had to flee from domestic violence from my family. Most people in general don't choose to be poor, but since I've been here, specifically in LA, a lot of people outside, they don't want to come into the shelter because they'd rather be in the tents.
I mean, I grew up poor,
Okay.
so I have been on both sides of the coin,
Okay.
and I can reflect.
She's saying she rich now?
Some of the lifestyle choices that I was making, some of the people that I was hanging around. So I don't think that people can initially control if they're born into poverty,
Right.
but I think that there is a certain level of control that comes along with being able to have that determination and resilience. Yeah.
Can I have the disagreeer step forward?
Uh-oh, what they about to say, chat?
We need to realize that these people are on the street not because of their own choosing, but because of the system that we live in perpetuates these things.
If I could speak to that, I come from a family that once relied on welfare and food stamps, and I've been blessed enough to make millions of dollars in real estate.
Sheesh.
Had I bought real estate from 2005 to 2008, I'd probably be bankrupt.
Dang.
I bought it at the right time.
People wish to be rich, they don't want to be rich. The difference is, do you take action? That being said, I agree with a lot of your points you're making about people not really having the resources or the opportunity to have any kind of action plan.
Some people
Okay.
don't want to be rich. Like, I don't want to be rich. Like, but I also don't want to be poor. I'm happy in the middle. And I would want to live in society.
Is he saying he's in the middle?
People to lift themselves out of poverty through programs and just be in the middle.
Y'all, let me talk some games to y'all real quick. It don't really matter. Just find a spot where you're comfortable. You can get your bills paid. You got some time for yourself. There's something that you want to buy, you can easily buy it. You got a lot of money saved up. You can invest some of your money in other areas, and you'll be straight. Just get to a point where you're comfortable. What you watching? Watching Jubilee. So Jubilee, what Jubilee does, they usually have like these topics, and they have people on one side and another side. Sometimes they're like highly political. Sometimes it's just like regular conversations. But for this one, it's rich versus poor. So it's just gonna be people. So basically, they're gonna ask them a question, and rich people on one side, poor people on the other side. They're gonna have them give their opinion on it.
Billionaires should not exist.
Ugh.
I don't see how anyone could ever spend $1 billion. It's not a necessity to have that much money, and I feel like there is a certain cap in which, like, you can completely survive and thrive with this amount of money, and then if you surpass that, you're just hoarding.
And then we've seen what people with billions of dollars are doing with their money. They're going to space for fun. Like, clearly, if we tax those people properly, get their wealth and distribute it to people who need it, that'd be a much better use than going to space for fun.
Uh-oh.
Personally, I don't think there's an issue with billionaires existing. The issue for me is that they need to be held accountable the same way poor people do. And I'm talking about the justice system.
When you
Okay, she kind of spitting.
have gotten that way because of the just incredible amount of value they've given to society. I won't even talk about a huge, crazy billionaire. I'll talk about Jay-Z, who's a billionaire. He made amazing music. That's how he became a billionaire. And so I don't think it's the government's job to interject and say, okay, you have too much, we need to give it away. I mean, it would also never happen in any other arena. No one's going to go, hey, Simone Biles, you have too many gold medals. We're going to take them from you, and we're going to give them to the other people who weren't as talented as you.
I completely agree.
I completely disagree. I feel like that is the government's job. And Jay-Z, like you said, Jay-Z made his money from music. That's his labor. He's a musician. He's selling his talent. But then when he invested in the alcohol, then he's using other people who are harvesting the wheat, the agave. They're breaking their back. They're using their labor.
So do you think that he shouldn't invest in those people? Should they just like say, the hell with your dreams, I'm not going to invest in you?
What about the job?
What do you mean?
They're having jobs.
Yeah, but how much are they getting paid for the jobs? Or those jobs in the third world where they're getting paid pennies,
Yeah,
and then
versus
Jay-Z
no
makes
job.
millions off their labor.
How much do you pay your employees?
You think harvesting isn't going to exist if Jay-Z doesn't invest?
She talks about more than enough.
I pay my employees like incredibly well, and I let them choose their own hours. Someone who works for me is a single mother. I pay her $50 an hour. And I think that people that are providing jobs and opportunities, you can hate on them all you want, but at the end of the day, like, nobody would work that job if it wasn't in some way, shape, or form worth it.
People who make $1 billion get a fraction of the value they create. Everybody here who has a business understands that. Even Jay-Z only gets 15 cents a record he sells. Okay?
Yes, that's because he got exploited by the record label who's using his labor to make money. It's the same
you
thing.
keep using this word exploiting like you understand the record business, of which I am in, okay? Record labels back hundreds of artists. Do you know how many go busto? Yeah. Okay? They're taking risk in an artist by the tapes paying the engineers more.
That's cool and all, but did he just try to justify record labels exploiting artists just because they take risks? That don't mean you should exploit people just because you're taking a risk on a lot of people. If that's the case, you can apply that same logic to a lot of stuff, and to his explanation, you'll be justified.
They're taking on a bet, and they can't just give everybody 50-50. They'll go bankrupt. You don't understand the record business, and you're just yelling out these words exploiting like you know what you're talking about, but you don't.
That's why
they're not exploiting.
That's why there's one Jay-Z and not millions
exactly.
of them.
I actually want to ask a question of how you define exploited and why you're saying that.
I'm using exploited in the Marxian term where your labor creates value and then your employer takes that value and distributes it unevenly to themselves and then leaves the rest.
I ain't gonna lie, buddy about to start crying, bro. If he don't start crying, he about to go into like a super defensive. Because a lot of people is ganging up on him right here. Even though this not seen like a ganging up. If you put yourself in his shoes, a lot of people is ganging up on him right now. You can tell by his facial expressions, how his demeanor, his breaths. But
unevenly to themselves and then leaves the rest for the workers. That's exploitation. My name is David.
He's staying composed though.
For Disney in the entertainment character department, and I make around $33,000 a year.
How's your experience been working at Disneyland?
My experience working at Disneyland is very mixed. The workers themselves, like my coworkers, are amazing people. Unfortunately, the company is not so great.
Yeah, we know about Disney.
They have enough money to pay us more. I think they should just pay us more, but I don't think they're going to do that. That's why I'm advocating for a union to bargain in our favor.
My name is Ginny.
I ain't gonna lie, Disney increases how much their tickets cost every year too, so Disney ain't changed that much since I was a jit. I ain't gonna cap to you.
I run a software design.
But I think he said Disneyland, so I think he on the Cali one.
About $400,000. When I started my business, that was like all consuming for me. Everything I did in my life was for business. And so I think my partner felt a lot of neglect. And so a lot of our arguments, a lot of the times that we had issues were because of my absence. The economy is rigged.
If you're born in a rich family, you have more opportunities. And as someone who is poor, living paycheck to paycheck, you're stuck having to apply to jobs and settle for things that you don't like instead of being able to follow your passion.
It did leave us hanging.
I agree that it's rigged to incentivize certain areas and behaviors, like we have millions and millions of farm subsidies, so it supports agribusiness. It may support one area like real estate or capital investment over labor, but I don't think it's generally rigged to basically keep the rich guy rich and the poor guy poor. That part I'll disagree. But there are certain policies like the reinvestment in productive people's hands for building real estate. I would say that's a good thing. Right?
When you
I
say
don't think
productive people, like, do you just mean people with money?
no, I mean people that actually take that money, organize people, put it to work, and create value. That's what I mean by productive people.
But who creates the value? It's the workers who create the value.
Listen, there's people who take risk and they risk their money. That's creating value. What you discount is the person willing to risk their savings, okay, and provide capital for that venture and to be paid last. So if it goes busto, the worker still gets paid, the investor doesn't. If it goes well, the worker gets paid and the investor makes money. You discount the role of capital and savings in any type of venture. Like my mom didn't want to be rich. She wanted to be a school teacher and work and do that and live in the middle ground, and that's fine. But there are people like me who want to take a lot of risk and get a lot of reward. And we put that capital.
Hey, Urban, chill. Chill, Urban.
Business build plans. I run a hedge fund, investments and other things. I make my own money. How much I make annually? Sometimes I lose money, but I'd say on average over 10 million a year. I took
Jeez, 10 mil a year?
of his life. He died broke. I did not inherit my money. I made it myself. I really don't care about the money. Money is a tool for me to have the experiences that I want to have out of life. And there are many experiences that I want to have.
You have to have a certain level of awareness and knowledge to know the rules of the game. And I think that there are barriers put in place to kind of prevent people from knowing the rules, but I think that it's out there and you can have access to it, and it's, you know, I think that knowing the
agree
rules
with
is
you.
different.
I know the rules, and I think they're disgusting. That's why I want to
Why
change
don't you
them.
play the game then? I mean, you can
I think they're disgusting. Why would I want to play the game?
As a real estate guy, I can make millions of dollars and use the exact same.
This nigga Urban.
Donald Trump would use and pay
I was in my
And does that make me a bad guy, or did I just study the tax code?
yeah.
You think so?
If you do that, yeah.
I'm following the
definitely.
law to a T.
The law is wrong. Yeah.
Why is it wrong? It's the
But
law.
I'm not.
You think just because it's law, it's always right?
No, certainly.
Hold on now. He 200 IQ her real quick. Why is it wrong with the law? You think just because it's because now we can change what the law is, and if it's law right.
Why is it wrong? It's the
But
law.
I'm not.
You think just because it's law, it's always right?
No, certainly not.
He got her. He got her. She should never spoke up like that.
The law is written to encourage certain things. If you disagree with it, you can go lobby and change. But he's not a bad guy.
I know you mentioned that there are barriers in place that do keep people kind of in impoverished conditions, but I don't think
Good and bad is it's not absolute, bro. So if he feels like he a bad guy, he then in his world he's a bad guy. I'm not gonna lie, there's no good bad absolutes, bro. There's ones that we have agreed on that are absolute bads, but all of it is, you feel me, social constructs, and I could get a little deeper, but we're gonna keep it light.
mental.
Well, that's where I was going. So if I can reflect on myself, I mean, I remember when I was living in poverty, I was just trying to survive. So I didn't even have the brain capacity to try or the willpower to kind of even desire to access the rules of the economy. But I mean, I had an epiphany, and I literally woke up one day and I was like, I cannot live the rest of my life like this, and I don't care if people call me lame, square, they're gonna question my blackness. I mean, I don't care. I'm getting out.
Well, speaking about blackness, do you think there's a correlation between people from the African diaspora and people of color and poverty? You don't think there's like a relationship there?
It's true that, you know, I belong to a community that makes less than certain other communities. That's true. Significantly less. But you can't look at differences between groups and say it's only because of systems. Systems played a huge deal to it. I'm not discounting that at all. Like, it's a real big deal, and we're working to change that. But
My
also,
order getting here between 106 and a 111.
In my old neighborhood, and people, you know, around this in these communities, they spend about 50% more on shoes than people who are not in those neighborhoods. And it's like, man, that.
Not only that, Todd, but I think I looked up a recent statistic that said that Asian households, their children tend to study 13 to 15 hours a week, where in a black household, it's like 3 hours a week.
I know you said it's not like a race issue, but when you think about the way that we got here as like African people, it was a race issue. We didn't have a chance to discover America like the other people did. So I feel like how you had mentioned that Asian Americans, they study more than black households. You
Put
know,
them
for white
J's
households,
down.
people are socialized in their upbringing to be more inclined to care about their finances, as opposed to like African Americans, we would rather look rich than actually be rich. I think that's a part of like our community.
It's a culture. It's a choice.
Well,
It's not a choice.
I don't.
To a certain extent.
I think it's a choice.
2021. We're not.
I do think it's a choice. I'm not going to say it's not a choice, but I'm saying, do you feel like some people don't have the same choices as other people's in different communities?
I think some people don't have the mental capacity to allocate the energy to learn the rules of the game.
What is she? Don't have the mental capacity to allocate the energy to learn the rules of the game. Is she saying niggas are too dumb and lazy? Is that what she said? I don't know what she's saying. Don't have the mental capacity, so that means they're either uninformed, to allocate the energy. I don't get it, bro. I don't get it.
Quote unquote, because
I don't get it.
Instincts are kicking in to just survive.
She doing us dirty. That's what I'm saying.
Like to account for trauma is the reason.
Uninformed.
I come from a.
Don't to allocate the energy. She's allocate the energy. What is she talking about?
Cult Islamic family, and the things that I was doing in my life they didn't agree with. They pretty much sent people to my house to kill me. I was set up multiple times. They hacked my social media pages.
What?
Both my iPhones. You know what I mean? So I don't want to just kind of ignore trauma as if it doesn't really matter in terms of what you are capable of doing, because people that are traumatized and people that do deal with a lot of oppression tend to get some of their choices removed.
I can acknowledge that, yes.
My name is Hanifa. I'm an author, and I'm currently homeless, so I don't make any money right now. I grew up Muslim my entire life, and in Islam, it is permissible to marry your cousin, so my family enforced sexual acts in between cousins. It led to me having to flee my hometown and come all the way to California, which is 2,600 miles away, just so that I can avoid.
Jeez, they over here going crazy.
Where my next meal will come from.
They not worried about their next meal, bro. Your next meal? You're not worried. You could take us all out for dinner tonight. They're not worried, bro. And then their answer is gonna be something like this. You know, with my business, it always comes a risk. Like, they got things set in place so that if anything, like if their whole business fell right now, they'd be good for a certain amount of months, days, year, whatever. Just say he made 10 million a year. Did 10 million a year walk up here?
My partner right now.
Oh my God. Why did 10 million a year walk up here about his next meal?
Are applying for EBT because we are just like.
People don't know what EBT is? Oh, I guess this is only in the US then.
Living check to check right now, and I'm supporting both of us because she just lost her job. We are like literally trying to get help from the government so that we can know that we have the funds to get groceries. It's so hard, and it feels like it's not as accessible as people make it seem.
To have everything stripped away from you and to not know where you're gonna sleep.
Oh, shorty really don't know where her next meal come from. I just peeped it while she was crying. She really don't know where her next meal come from. Meanwhile, these rich MFers, oh brother, hey, she low key might not know where her next meal come from. But look, I ain't gonna lie, if I'm up there, I'm crying too. Cause why y'all came up here capping talking about something y'all don't know y'all next meal come from, y'all rich as hell. Like, I'm leaving here with my probably $100 they gave me to be on to do this, and taking this to McDonald's.
It's very difficult. You know, I almost feels like a past life of having like everything. You know, I had bags. I had to take my little Michael Kors back to the pawn shop. item of clothing that I had to Plato's Closets that I could buy a one-way ticket for myself and my child. I didn't know what we were gonna eat. I didn't know where we were gonna sleep, and not to be a victim, but it's not my fault why I'm here, you know? It's because I speak out against cult behavior. I speak out against pedophilia, and publishing my story has the domino effect of that has led me to not knowing where I'm gonna eat, and I've never had that happen to me before prior to 4 months ago, and that's just really tough.
Thank you for sharing your story. That's really powerful. And yeah, like if you need help, like after this, let's just talk. That pulls on
Right.
heartstrings because
Right. Tyler's like, leave Hannah for alone. She really.
Myself and my father was a wife beater. He was also a child molester. So anyone listening can connect the dots on that. I feel for you.
I almost want to jump out because it was only a short period of time, you know, and just that short period of time when you're busted or whatever, and you're just like whatever. But you guys were like in the real thick of it. You guys are in the trenches. I visited the trenches for like a couple months.
Then why did he come here? Did he come here to flex? And she got a piercing. Is she really? Hey, bro, some people, that person probably been in there for 6 months, Urban. And a gold chain. Look, that's all. That's all. Jubilee saw her. She said, "Yeah, I got a lip piercing." She went back there to the costume department. They got her dressed up, made her look nice, you know. Once she leave this set, she got to go put back on the rags and stuff she had. But why did he come here to flex on everybody? I had a toe in the trenches. He should have stayed back there. He's literally just came up here. And the mood was, he brightened the mood up a little bit, but he literally just came up here to like, yeah, you know, that's all bad, but you know, I really wasn't like that with y'all. I really just had a toe in the trenches. I really been rich all my life. And just start laughing at them.
Paycheck to paycheck, and on top of that, I have a crippling gambling addiction. I'm addicted to weed. I'm addicted to alcohol. I'm addicted to vaping. And as soon as I have that direct deposit, it's like I have no control. Almost like I go, like.
If you can identify that, you should be able to fix it, or be able to get somebody to help you. If you can identify that, you should be able to. Dang, bro, hold on. Hey, I'm not gonna lie, Urban.
And then I come out of that.
You can thank
like,
Too Lucid.
Thinking, how am I gonna figure out this week?
Too Lucid. Too Lucid helped me set up that street layout. I said that man is a menace. I don't know what he's doing.
It's addiction.
When you're in a position when you don't have
He keeps
money,
delete your messages.
for fun, and
What is spamming symbols?
Symbols.
Symbols? Ah,
And so when you
that's a
get that paycheck,
symbols.
and you have just a little bit of enough money to do something that will spark joy for you.
Hey,
it's so
you gotta
worth
get
it.
lucid, bro. He the one helped me set it up. I don't know what the symbol was.
One thing for myself, I'll just
He chose it. It's the emojis.
now it's gone.
I don't know what.
understand what you're saying, and I used to think like that too, but I also thought about how joyful it would be to be rich. I would rather
I gotta go in there and tweet that.
because the gratification of
I gotta go in there and tweet that. It's also I don't have it on mine.
more important. My name is Brittany. I am a holistic health practitioner.
Holistic health.
Around $130,000 a year.
Okay, I was thinking.
Relationship with my brother.
I like she looked like she dressed nice, take care of herself, but I wasn't thinking she was like over 200K.
Since I have acquired more money, he only calls me when he needs something. The only person that I really have a relationship is my mom. I haven't spoken to my brother.
And what's good with her brother?
I want them to be happy and, and successful more than anything. But it almost feels dehumanizing to be looked at as just the help and not a sister or a cousin or something.
Oh.
My name is Mia, and I'm currently working as a customer service representative for a moving and storage company. I make $45K a year. My family has always been like, oh, you gotta look presentable, you gotta look nice. Whenever
45K a year. She making somewhere around the part where I'm making. She need to stop blowing her money.
to the mall. But as an adult, you know, a lot of my money isn't going towards buying new
Not because of her, because of
clothes or
Streamlabs.
jewelry, makeup, whatever it might be.
4 bands a month
you'll
type
catch me,
shit. Like
sweats
she's
and a
just blowing.
t-shirt, and
She's
I
just blowing all the money. To be honest, she said. Well, she said it. Gambling, weed, vape. I don't know, bro. She needs to stop blowing her money. She can really decrease her way of living and start saving money, invest a little bit. She gotta. How you vaping and smoking weed? I thought it was like either or.
Investing more in how I present myself.
And she said she was an alcoholic.
You're just hanging out back there.
You know, I feel like I misunderstood the prompt.
So have you ever worried about where your next meal is going to come from? Ever?
Not ever. It's not ever. I'm worried where my next meal come from. Oh, I have worried where my next meal will come from. That was a horrible question, bro. Come on. And this guy even admitted he still haven't really worried about where his next meal. He really was like, I really never worried. I was in the trenches for a second. I put my toe in it.
I definitely have. Like when I was in college, I was trying to buy groceries, and the lady behind me ended up paying groceries for me, and it's so embarrassing because my card got maxed out, and I had no money in the bank account, basically.
15
He said that's the worst feeling. That happened yesterday for him. $15 is not enough for minimum wage.
I did have a question for you two. You both mentioned that you suffer from addiction and that as soon as you get a paycheck, it's gone, whether it's gambling or weed or shopping or whatever. If you had a higher income, would that change?
Personally, yes, because the whole reason I gamble is like, let me get that $60,000 win and I'll stop gambling. That's my mindset, right? And another thing is I feel
That's not her mindset. That adrenaline rush gonna make that 60. She gonna want, once she hit that 60, she gonna want that 100. When she hit that 100, she want that 500K. When she hit that 500K, she gonna want that million. Especially if you gamble. If you gamble like that, you gonna waste your money. Your order has been picked up. It's approaching with your order from Chili's.
I feel like if I were to have like passive income, I guess you can say, or be financially stable, I can pursue and distract myself with my actual passions. Like I want to start a true crime YouTube channel, but I don't have the laptop, I don't have the camera.
Bro, we're making around the same amount. I'm not gonna lie, she can do that right now. She can do that right now, bro. She can do that right now. She can do that right now. She quit vaping, quit drinking, quit something for a month, save up some money, 4 to 6 months, get you a laptop, a webcam, pay off some of your
Addiction
cards.
takes control, so I don't think about the things I don't have, and I just feel numb and thoughtless, and I'm just enjoying my TV. And so yeah, I feel like it would change. I would be able to have other distractions that are beneficial.
You can have those distractions now. Money's not changing that. I'm not gonna lie.
Like medical help,
Yeah, exactly.
you know, psychiatrist, because that's really expensive, and you can't afford it living off of minimum wage, you know.
I feel like a lot of jobs will pay minimum wage, but they will expect maximum effort.
Tight beat, tight beat,
Minimum wage.
tight beat. Hey, he's spitting right now.
I've always looked at it the opposite way.
What?
If I go into a company and they're paying me minimum wage, I do everything that I can to get promoted.
It depends. It depends where we're working at. We're talking about minimum wage jobs, bro. We're not really talking about like jobs where you can move up in the system and he's talking about more of those higher class jobs. They're talking about like McDonald's, corner stores, grocery stores. Yeah, you can move up a little bit, but and you can move. I'm not gonna lie. You can advance doing minimum effort.
I'm a real estate investor and a YouTuber, and I make about $1.4 million per year. When you grow up
1.4.
like I did with no money and your mom is struggling.
Shit, ad revenue on his YouTube videos go crazy.
Can't pay the bills. That takes a toll on you as a kid and seeing that struggle.
Are we listening to their stories?
12 years old.
I'm not gonna lie.
Shoveling
What's the next question?
To get promoted, and then we're gonna do something else with our lives.
Many, many, many years ago, you could go live off the land. You didn't have to work for somebody in order to survive. All the land is taken, It's in federal land. You can't go fishing in these federal streams. You can't do that. So that's not possible at scale. In order to survive, you must work for someone else. That forces wages down, right? People can't just go, F you, I'm not gonna work, I'm gonna chill and work on my novel or do whatever. So that's the part where I agree with you, and like, I'm a supporter of UBI so that people aren't forced to work. Now, where I
Universal
disagree
basic
is
income.
that we don't pay people based on what they need. And you were kind of pointing to this. I give the minimum effort if you pay me minimum wage. But there's certain jobs that are not worth $15 an hour. They're just frankly not worth it. Maybe they're worth 5. Maybe they're worth 2. I want you to watch TV.
Whoa. I don't know. Sound like he's trying to justify paying his coworkers $5 an hour. Oh, there go my food. He's trying to justify paying his coworker $5 an hour, chat. That's what we're not finna ignore. Oh, yes, sir. Good eats. We love us some good eats. We trying to pay Urban $5 an hour. What you about to eat? We got some Chipotle honey chicken tenders with corn and fries.
$15 an hour minimum wage. Yeah. But by making the wage $15 an hour, you just eliminated a job.
More money, more problems.
More money, more problems, but that's a path that I'm willing to take on because the problems that come along with not having money, I can't imagine going back there. I made it a point to
The guy's bad, bro. They put my
adjacent to
fries in a different container than my chicken, but I kind of like that because that means my fries
just to be around money.
Was cooked individual and wasn't like leftover.
A lot of the problems in my life would be solved with just, not even if I was rich, but just a little bit more money. I would just have so much less stress and less things to worry about. I wouldn't be finding myself in these situations where I'm worried about how am I going to pay rent? How am I going to get
He's spitting. He's spitting. I'm not gonna lie, he is spitting. It's going ahead like that. We got the gist. We got the gist. The only thing is now